of the teams might have figured him out. We'll see if RNG can keep that hot streak they were coming off of from yesterday. And iG.V, they've been struggling. We saw them play their match up against CDEC. They got 2-0'd. They still maintain a 0-4 streak. Overall game 0-8. Not a single win so far. And RNG is not any easier for an opponent. So we'll see whether or not iG.V does kind of figure out what they have to get done as a team.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, they did struggle quite a lot yesterday. You talked about their record so far. It's been a bit rough for iG.V, but this is the day they could make it all come back. So the draft has begun. Raw never give up. They take that very popular Clockwork. Nice little opening with a flex pick there from RNG. I wonder, iG.V, I mean, there's so many picks to take here. It's almost hard to decide on what, but they're going to go for the Ember first pick, which does really leave RNG to go for picks like the Quap if they want right now, before it does get banned out. You've got the Nature's Prophet. You've got so many things to take. Even that very popular position 3 Mars that they love giving to Flywin is also available right now if they want to just confirm the support Clockwork, but we'll find out very soon. They're going to have a bit of a think about this with their reserve time.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising iG.V doesn't ban out that Mars. Like, we have seen Flywin play that numerous times for RNG. It's been a priority ban out. Still, RNG, they pick up the Quap, which wasn't banned out as well. The two popular ones, the Quap and the DK, actually staying through that opening ban pool. So RNG pick up that Quap, still flexible with a Clockwork. You've got a lot of mobility, and we've seen this combination played before. I want to say that was actually iG.V picked up this kind of opening last time. So RNG wants to give it a shot, want to have success with it. iG.V, they've got the option for the Kotl with the Ember Spirit. A straightforward combo for them. No surprises there.
Yeah, I suppose it isn't. That Kotl Ember, I mean, it's still as effective as it used to be, I'd say. I don't think it's been nerfed really through this economy patch that we just had. If anything, maybe it's stronger, but I don't necessarily like the Kotl into the Clockwork, I've got to say. If they do decide to run the POS 4 Clockwork, it could be quite devastating for this keeper. You really can't lane against the Clock if you are the POS 5 keeper of the light, but it's to be seen how Raw Never Give Up want to run the Clockwork, because a lot of the Clocks we've been seeing, and especially in the Chinese region, have seemingly just been POS 5s rather than POS 4s, so you might not see that lane matchup between the two, but even during that mid game, it can be a bit hard to escape the Clockwork's grasp if it does get a hook shot onto you, and when you have the follow-up there from that Quap as well, it basically guarantees a kill on that POS 5.
Yeah, it's a very squishy here to have into this kind of bursty combo RNG's got. You tend to see something like a Disruptor when you see Clockwork Queen of Pain. I think that's been the response from a lot of teams. Glimpse just gives you so much value in that case, but iG.V, they do prioritize just having that Sleight of Fist combination with Keeper and the AoE control. So let's see if they can make that work. Just have to be careful with how far forward they put that Keeper. Of course, one big thing that we haven't seen in action as much is that change to stacking. Like, this is one of the things where Keeper to Light really shines. Since it's 40% now per camp, the Kotl can stack a lot of camps at once. So you can really see the gold pouring in for that Kotl if they do invest in the time to get that done.
Right. Could be problematic there for Raw Never Give Up. I mean, you have the Rocket Flare to scout out a lot of those stacks that are happening if they get a kind of a whiff that there might be stacks going on here from that Kotl. But, we've got to get into the game first before we see that. RNG, they do get rid of the Beastmaster Prophet, so even though the Zoo meta isn't so popular anymore with these Necrobook and Helm of the Dominator nerfs, you still just don't want to risk anything here, because you still can get run down if you give them everything. And iG.V seem to be just focusing on position 1s now, already getting rid of the Naga Siren. They're going to have a bit more of a think about this fourth ban out now. You've got so many bans to make. It's just a matter of what position you want to remove here, and we'll continue seeing more position 1s being removed. The Troll now going, and well, so is the AM, so they don't want to have to deal with either of those. I wonder, do they just keep banning POS 1s now?
I'd say with the trajectory they've taken with this draft, I think, and with the amount of bans you have in the last phase, you're actually allowed to do that. You've got an additional ban right before it closes out now, so you can kind of hold out in those mid-ban outs till the end, just giving you more leeway to ban some big cores. Surprising that Troll was banned out. Keeper Flight, for example, with a Troll isn't the most amazing. You don't have room for anything like the Oracle that we tend to see with a Troll, so rather keen ban out from RNG. Just supposedly, maybe they just don't want to deal with it. If they are running one of these versus supports, it's probably not the best way of controlling up a Troll, so just being safe. The aim as well, right? Like, you don't have the best lockdown here from iG.V. You've got the Will-O-Wisp. I guess it's not quite amazing for something like the AM, and Ember Chains are too unreliable. So a hero like that is bound to just get out of control, and they don't want to deal with it. So just, again, just giving themselves a little bit more breathing room as we approach that second pick phase.
Oh, they're still using that reserve time. iG.Vitality. They're down to 25 seconds now. I'm kind of thinking to myself, what are they thinking about here? They'll get rid of the Morphling. Okay, so it looks like they're just trying to decide on their own position 1. They don't want to have to deal with the Morphiver, and well, for now, they're just going to go into that position 4 Mirana here for iG.V. No real necessary setup quite yet for that Mirana, but I suppose she could build into the Yules, and now Rowan never give up. Go for what appears to be a position 4 Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, I really like this combo from RNG. It's the Clock Sky. So you get the cogs off, you get the Mystic Flare off, you've got a lot of damage coming out, decent control with the silence. You can still get the Ember Spirit locked down until he does have a way of purging that silence off. So it's a solid one to have. I mean, you do have to worry about the damage the Ember can bring towards such a squishy target, but you do have options there. Still iG.V. We see it yet again. They pick up the Sand King, a hero that you don't really see too often, but you combine that with the Keeper, you consider the control and the damage the Sand King can bring in a team fight, it can kind of gel with his draft quite nicely.
It can, but I'm kind of confused as to why they keep going for this hero. I suppose there's a reason why it hasn't been very popular. There's other heroes that can kind of offer that control. iG.V, I mean, they're yet to show us. You do have the Burrow Strike Arrow combination now in the laning phase at least, so there is still plenty of potency in the Sand King for sure. It's just, last time we saw it from iG.V, its impact was sort of lacking, it felt like. We saw it took a bit of time to get that blink up on the Sand King, and by the time you had it up, it wasn't really as effective as you would have hoped, and now RNG, they make matters even worse for iG.V. They go for the Lifestealer pickup. So that Sand King really doesn't affect the Lifestealer as long as Rage is available anyway.
Yeah, it's not just the Sand King. You're canceling out the Mirana, the Keeper of the Light's damage and control, even the Ember Spirit early on with a magic build just won't be able to dent that Lifestealer. So it's an excellent pick from RNG. You've got great natural vehicles as well in the Quap, in the Clockwork. The Lifestealer is enabled to play really aggressive. This is a very fast lineup from RNG. You're not looking for a lot of big items flying out here. You just need EXP. And once that's up and running, they can just take control of this game if you're not careful on iG.V's side.
Yeah, definitely true. We'll all never give up. Final ban out now. We see the Lycan LC being removed by both teams.
10 seconds
and
remaining.
it is iG.V still looking for a position 1 pickup. Unless they're going to run the POS 1 Ember and throw someone else mid instead. Either way, RNG, they're going to have a bit more of a think about this one, but I imagine they are going to just keep getting rid of any position 1s they're a bit afraid of here. I just wonder what it could be that they're looking at last.
I mean, with a Lifestealer pickup, you are kind of free to try to exploit, say, an Illusion draft here from iG.V. Maybe the PL could make an appearance. You ban out Naga yourself. A Herablade could be it, but up against the magic damage a Quap and Sky brings, that's a bit iffier. So they want something to manipulate what RNG has in kind of holds in their draft. A PL could be nice if they do want to play that kind of game. They would have to buy it some space, but it can overwhelm a Lifestealer at some point.
Yeah, they get rid of the Viper, so they've switched around to the mid lane again. They're just not wanting to give that Viper away, which has been rather popular as of late as well. If you just want to dominate that mid lane, and Raw Never Give Up, they'll know it very well because they had to play up against that Viper multiple times when they were playing up against SAG, and it really ended up ruining Setsu's lane every time. So Raw Never Give Up, their last pick. Flywind still needed a hero, and the Mars was there. They banned out the Tidehunter, but Flywind, I can't believe the Mars actually made it through all the way to the last pick. And iG.V, they actually take the Spectre, which is quite intriguing. To go for the Spectre when you're up against the draft of Raw Never Give Up. It seems like a very kind of vulnerable Spectre game, if I'm honest. Especially with that Skywrath clock around, but they must feel confident.
Yeah, it is a lot slower from iG.V. There are three big ults they have to watch out for on their side. They have to play around a Will-O-Wisp. The Epicenter is a factor once you have the Blink and the Haunt. So that's a lot of timers iG.V have to keep up pace with. RNG, not quite as locked in. I mean, I guess the Arena for Flywind, but that's a relatively short cooldown. So it's down to RNG to play this one really fast, shut down the map quickly, prevent Doodle from finding farm, and if they can get that done, they can really start to overwhelm iG.V's lineup. So iG.V, they've got to play it smart, slow down the game, give Doodle some space, and try to maximize the stacking potential of that keeper. We haven't seen too many teams emphasize stacking up those camps, but it is just so worthwhile now with the changes to the economy.
Oh, well, I'm not sure if my mic was just muted that whole draft. It may have been. I'm not going to lie. If it was, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that. At least you got to listen to John talk. You probably didn't even need to listen to me anyway. So, hello again. It's been one of those days. I apologize for that. If it was muted, I'm actually not 100% sure. But here we are. So we'll get into the game very, very soon. Game number 1 between Raw Never Give Up and iG.Vitality. Should be a fun one. The RNG draft does look very, very dangerous, is what I was saying, and I believe John was agreeing with that sentiment. We'll get into it.
Yeah, it's really surprising you let Flywind pick up this Mars at the last phase. Like, a lot of teams just ban it first phase, and RNG, they get the surprise in the end. I think it's a really good counter. Like, imagine a laning phase for Doodle. It's not going to be great up against the dual lanes of RNG. It's just going to be a lot of pressure from the get-go, and that just makes it a lot harder for the Spec to scale up. We've seen the Spectre once in 7.27. We saw like a Radiance Rush. Just back to that. No in-between item to help your farm up. Maybe you stop by for the Soul Ring to give yourself some more mana to spam out the Spectral Dagger, but it is a very hard hero to really efficiently farm with the Necronomicon nerf hard. It's one of the heroes that was really hit by that item change.
Yeah, see, that's why I was kind of shocked that they went into the Spectre. When you brought up the PL, I thought that may have been the pick. But then they go for the Spectre position 1, and I kind of wonder what Doodle plans to pick up here to help him farm up quicker. And he may very well go back to that Radiance build that you just mentioned. But we've seen how long of a build-up that can take, especially if you are up against a hard lane.
30 seconds.
The Spectre is very reliant on creep waves. It doesn't really jungle very efficiently without that Radiance up or without that Necro book up. The RNG, they're obviously going to know this very, very well, and even if you just have the Clockwork Skywrath Mage combo just kind of roaming through the jungle in that at that 10-minute mark, it's kind of hard to see how you manage to get this farm up on this Spectre, but we'll give props to Doodle. We'll just wait and see what he is going to get up to here with his own item build, because he hasn't queued anything up quite yet. But I thought for a second they may decide to run a bit of a tri-lane up top, up against that Spectre, but it looks like Super is going to make his way back down on the Clockwork. So they will just run the standard kind of dual lanes, and even those dual lanes are quite potent from RNG. I don't really see Nevermind and Dust being able to do too much in this off lane of theirs up against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, it's like the one thing Dust can do is just really secure those range creeps, but Nevermind and the Sand King, and we've seen this before, it does take a few levels to really start to maintain that lane, and you're countered by one item. Like a Sentry Ward just ruins your presence there. Without Sandstorm, you just can't really contest.
Gust. Oh, he's just coping so much harassment early on. Without that leap, they know they can do this. And now Nevermind as well. He's going real deep to try and get that range creep. It was denied off anyway by Monet. And he took so much harassment because of that. He doesn't have tangos either. He's only got he doesn't have salves. He only has a two set of tangos. And he might have some more coming out. There's that salve on the courier. But Super, understanding that he can harass Nevermind out now again. Nevermind might actually not have a way out of this. He went for Caustic Finale level 1, and so Monet's going to chase him down. He doesn't have that Burrow Strike, but he will be able to juke his way out. And that salve he's bringing out will have to be committed straight away.
Yeah, it's a really strong start for RNG. They're just completely zoning Nevermind out. This is delaying his progress towards level 2, and the Sand King doesn't even shine at 2. It takes like level 3 for it to really start maintaining that presence. So Super on this past 5 o'clock, just finding his own XP at a really good pace and really making it hellish for iG.V in that offlane.
This time they didn't bring a Sentry Ward either to try and counter out the Sentry that will be placed by Super later on, because he does have one ready for when that Sandstorm is up. Of course, that mid lane, you'll see Butterfly Effect. He's going to be up against Setsu on that Quap, and so far for Butterfly, it has been a decent enough lane. It's very hard to get much harassment out on the Ember once he has that Flame Guard up, and of course at level 2, the Shadow Strike will mean that it doesn't do much up against that level 2 Flame Guard. Setsu will just have to focus on securing creeps rather than really trying to harass up Butterfly too much.
It stays as a pretty even lane, and a lot of this game for iG.V will rest on the back of Butterfly Effect. So the fact that he's having a fairly even start is a good sign, because he's going to have to pick up that slack for both the SK and
Yeah, Setsu, he's just might be dead. Yeah, Butterfly, he does get the kill and gets a de-aggro as well. Bot lane, Nevermind, also goes down to Monet, and oh, well, Butterfly just denied himself off in that mid lane. Not a big deal there. Of course, he already got the Quap kill and XP, so it's worth just resetting, but it'll be a 2-for-1 for RNG. They still managed to get the Sand King down bot, but definitely a great kill down that mid lane as well, getting that kill onto Setsu.
Yeah, again, it's really important for Butterfly Effect to have this great start. Because of how rough that offlane is, it's all down to the Ember to keep applying that pressure, and at level 4, you can really start pumping it onto Setsu now.
Top lane as well, you'll see QIQX, he's going to be up against September in terms of supports, and Doodle will be around there on the Spectre, up against Flyone on that Mars. They're both sitting at 18 last hits, 3 denies right now on those cores up at the top lane, but Flyone's got a nice creep wave right underneath that T1 tower. So it hasn't been all bad for Doodle quite yet. In fact, they're going to try and make a chase onto September. Dagger gonna fly out. They're actually gonna make the chase for this. Doodle, he might be able to secure this kill. 2 more hits would do it. 1 more now. September's still trying to run, but Doodle is making the chase, and well, eventually Butterfly Effect will just take it for himself on the Ember. And we'll see the TP straight back up to that top lane for Doodle.
It's a bit of a costly chase for Doodle. He misses out on quite a fair bit. Few creeps, and Flyone does manage to widen that last hit cap just a bit. So he is giving that kill over to Butterfly Effect. Again, a lot more important for the Ember to find that early snowball. But the Spectre, at this point, really does start to have issues maintaining that lane. Flyone, even though he's slightly behind in EXP, is starting to get a bit more annoying with that Soul Ring up and running.
That's it. Once that Soul Ring's up, it gets very, very dangerous for the Spectre. It's like Doodle's actually going for the Urn build, surprisingly enough. That's really old school.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting way, right? Like, because you don't have any stopgaps, I guess the best thing you can do is try to fight early, but Haunt is still the same long cooldown, so we'll have to see if that pays off for Doodle down the line.
Bot lane, Nevermind, getting low again, will end up dying there to Super. And this bot lane has been really disastrous for the side of iG.Vitality. The Sand King not really able to get anything. He's got some CS, but it's not worth really throwing your life away like this consistently, and well, Monet's gonna be much happier with the way his lane's going on the lifestealer.
Yeah, I mean, he's been forced to go for the Burrow Strike build with the Caustic Finale. Not a single point in Sandstorm for our Sand King, so Never mind. I mean, he's going to have to... If he does dip into the jungle, well, he's not going to be clearing them that efficiently without the sandstorm.
Dust, arrow, mid lane. Just going to hit the range creep. Setsu seemed to be well aware that that Mirana was missing and does avoid the arrow. Butterfly effect, though, will be able to secure that illusion rune down at the bot lane. Is there an illusion rune there? Like, no.
Huh.
What? There's an emblem saying there's an illusion rune.
That's a...
Where's the rune?
It's a beta game, like. It's you know, it was there. I guess the game thinks it's there.
So I guess we just found a bit of a bug with this new patch. So that's good. We can post this later on, get that fixed up. Still, there's the rune coming up now. They do have the clockwork under control, and Super, he tries to go for the cogs, but hey, I believe he wanted the pushback. Didn't quite get it in time. Butterfly effect able to pick up his 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, and again, it's a really good start for Butterfly Effect. He's at level 6 now. That means he should have the Remnants, although he was forced to level up for a different build, so he actually doesn't have a point up yet. But in the end, I mean, this helps him maintain that lane against Setsu, and Setsu's going to be stuck here still trying to trade with an Ember that is a level ahead.
QY could be in trouble. September, of course didn't want to die in that tier 1 tower, but he's really forcing this Keeper of the Light out of that top lane. It's a very, very hard lane for QY to try and contest here on that Coddle. The best he can really do is just keep giving mana over to Doodle and allow him to just spam out that Spectral Dagger to secure CS, it seems, but apart from that, he can't do anything else. And this is allowing Flywind to just continue free farming this lane on the Mars, and that is generally a very, very dangerous thing to allow, as he does really do quite well on this particular hero, the Mars, and Doodle. All he can do is take harassment right now from this Skyrath, as even Super's going to rotate up top now on the clock. They don't really have the hook shot up yet on the clockwork, but they could definitely try and close the gap. However, mid lane as well, Setsu dodging out an arrow there from Dust. Dust has been really trying to target Setsu on this Queen of Pain, but he's not quite able to land an arrow yet, and this will mean Setsu can keep farming up that mid just fine.
Yeah, this is the one issue with their draft, right? They don't have the hardest lockdowns, and up top they do manage to find QY without rotation from the Mirana. So their lanes are a bit too open, and RNG, they're just really abusing the heck out of it.
Dust is still in mid lane as well, waiting for that Queen of Pain to overextend maybe. Going for that arrow now? No. Won't bother trying. The blink was there out of Setsu, and he'll go for the Arcane Rune rather than the Bounty. Butterfly being trapped up there in the cog. Sonic Wave! It was juked out. A great juke there from the Ember, and now Setsu will be chased down. In fact, Doodle, he'll turn around. Flywind missed the arena on everybody. They do force some decent rotations here, but iG.Vitality might find this as an opening. In fact, no, the Kongs will block the way, so they won't bother trying to make the chase. I suppose if you're iG.V, just seeing that Sonic Wave being used up and wasted is going to be good enough.
Yeah, it's a bit of an opening for iG.V. They do clump a lot of heroes down mid. I mean, you even drag out Doodle with first Haunt without a single kill. So that's a very costly spell to kind of commit for that, and you are still giving a lot of space towards Monet. Monet is rushing that Maelstrom build on the Lifestealer, which we haven't seen in a while, but if it works, it works. You know, it allows Monet to fight a lot faster, and that's really all RNG wants. They want to hit 6 in their supports and start laying it onto iG.V.
Never mind. He's going to Sandstorm, but goes for the Burrow Strike. Super's coming in, and he does have Dust available. Never mind, is basically guaranteed to die now. No Burrow Strike to really jump himself out of there. He's just gone. That's going to be a second kill there for Monet, though mid lane September does also end up going down. Butterfly picking up his 4th kill on the Ember now. And, well, it's almost like all these kills going over to Monet is being offset by the fact that this Ember is getting so many kills as well. Now, yeah, Butterfly, he's not going to make rotations yet on the Ember. He's just going to continue escalating this farm lead.
Yeah, I think it's really important he finds that fast timing on the Orchid. They need that additional control and silence just to be able to find those guaranteed kills, and there's not much he can do by himself without that just yet.
Monet gonna go after Dust. Dust has no mana and no leaps anyway, so he's dead. Another pick up there for the Lifestealer, and QY getting speared over to that wall by Flywind. He'll also go down. So 2 more kills going to RNG, and now, well, they hold a 2k net worth lead.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah, it's slowly piling up for RNG. I mean, you do have really good progression on Butterfly Effect. Well, you can give iG.V that, but Doodle's farm is supremely slowing down. He is rushing that Manta style first in the spec, but it's going to be a while until that's up. You just don't clear caps fast enough with no real in-between item for you. And you contrast that to Flywin, his lane matchup. He's very close to Blink, just 1,000 away. And once Flywin has that Blink, he's just always going to be ready to fight as long as Arena's up.
No, I love this as well. They're not allowing Doodle to farm that side of the jungle. They'll take his large camp away. Even without the tier 1 tower up top going down yet, they're just not allowing him to get any form of farm. And luckily for Doodle, he did get an Iron Talon, which is extremely lucky considering the circumstances right now. So that's going to be that farming tool we were kind of hoping to see out of Doodle, basically, right? You can't really expect much else. He's just going to go for the Manta style straight after, and now Butterfly Effect going to rotate top. Nice arrow out from Dust. Arena was dropped, but it's going to do nothing, or maybe it does now with that Skywrath ulti coming in, but the Haunt there from Doodle. Dagger? No. It's not going to be enough. Flywin, he proves to be too tanky, even with that arrow connecting. And you commit Arena, but it's a short cooldown anyway. You won't mind that if you're RNG.
Yeah, that's a really good trade for RNG. They force an early rotation out from Butterfly Effect that doesn't pay off. So that's time where your Ember's not farming. That's time where you're freeing up space for Setsu, freeing up space for Monet, and they're building up really well. Monet has the Maelstrom. So on this Lifestealer, he is ready to go. They already have level 6 on Super as well. They could just go for an Infest play and start tearing through iG.V if they actually wanted to, but real reason. They're still finding farm, and they're still winning out in these trades, regardless of the fact that Monet's free farming.
Yeah, I think that's the point, right? Like, Monet's just going to keep hitting creeps for the next 10 minutes. He's going to get that halberd up. No need for him to join in right now, because they're just destroying them. There goes the Mirana. Dust will go down still. Butterfly Effect does get a trade. September also dying. Setsu, he's very low on mana, so Monet does have to get involved now. Butterfly finding another. Almost getting that quap, but a great blink out. And Butterfly, he would try and push it to the limits before he does Remnant out. In fact, no, he has no Remnants. So the Will-O-Wisp will protect, but the Scream out from Setsu. He just barely got enough mana from, I believe, the Magic Wand to be able to commit that Blink Scream, and that's a huge kill to get on that Ember Spirit.
Oh, it absolutely is. That just really takes a lot away. That was the highest value net worth hero on iG.V, and bleeding that out to Setsu just widens the lead of that Quap. You do have Monet being chased down, but again, you don't have the proper lockdown, and that just means he gets to go out scotch-free. Now, you do have the Blink on Nevermind, so you can play with that Epicenter with the Sand King. The question is, can they find that opening? Because a Lifestealer is not the easiest thing to stun out, and you've got on Flywin as well.
Infest is going to be there. Who's it on? Did I not just hear an Infest? No, I did. It's going to be on Super. And mid lane, they are going to hook shot in straight onto that Mirana. And, well, she's trying to get out of there. Dust probably is just dead. The Urn out will be enough. And Setsu had the Shadow Strike. Now Butterfly Effect, not quite getting the Remnant he wanted. He'll try to Remnant away, but Super is going to be there to block the pathing. It's just another easy couple kills there for RNG. And they're going to set up for that mid-tier 1 tower. And this should really be devastating here for iG.V. It's going to open up that jungle.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of farm away from their Spectre, from their Sand King. It just makes it a lot less safe for Doodle to hang around, and he's trying his best, but he doesn't even have the Yasha up and running just, so it's really slow farming. Oh.
Caught out, Flywin, an easy kill with that Arena. Now Doodle, how do you get out of this? He'll dagger away and just go into the tree line. They know he's in there somewhere, but they're not going to bother chasing him down. For RNG, with this net worth advantage, they understand they can take free objectives. That's exactly what they'll do.
Yeah, there's just no way iG.V contests. They have to play with the Epicenter, and they are smoked up on the side.
Moonlight Shadow going to be there. They'll make the jump onto that Skywrath. Haunting as well, and they'll get the kill on September. Can they get anything else? Haunt back in, but a great hook shot out from Super. He gets onto 2. Cogs there on Butterfly Effect. Will-O-Wisp drop, but Monet is going to take care of that straight away. And Butterfly forced Rodman out. Still, they do kill off Super. Never mind. He also goes down to the Sand King, and now Butterfly is falling way too low, and he does go down. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but Setsu just jumps in, cleans them up. Dust and QYQX also going down. And they're just having the easiest time of their lives right now, RNG. This game so far is not really much of a contest.
No, it's 16-8, 7k lead for RNG at 15.5 minutes in. They've taken 2 tier 1 towers, so iG.V has not found an objective in response, and they're trying to get farm on Doodle. It's just way too slow. They try to reveal that blink on Nevermind, but they don't even manage to use that epicenter. And when they don't use that spell, it's just, it falls apart.
They tried to go after Monet down at that bot lane, but he was just able to rage TP on, as you do. You haven't really... September actually goes down top lane. Nice kill there from Nevermind, unless it costs him his life, which it just may. Spear is there, and that's just a great setup from Flyone. This is why you can't give this man the Mars. He'll do this over and over again.
Yeah, it's a really good trade for iG.V. Not only did they find that kill, but Nevermind had to use the epicenter to kill off the Sky.
He's got Doodle. Trapped in the Cogs. Battery Assault with the Cogs pushback. Arrow is going to be nice from Dust. Flyone does have the arena, but he's waiting for that blink to be up. He eventually realizes they are too far away. But you don't really mind that. Like, there's nowhere to farm right now for Doodle apart from his own triangle. While he's got the Yasha up and he's able to slowly farm faster, he's just running out of space here. And while he is farming that triangle, Monet is happily and freely taking that tier 2 tower up top.
And you do see a little bit of a push back from Butterfly Effect on that bot tier 1, but the tier 1 for a tier 2 is really not an even trade. And again, it just allows a lot more of the map to be captured out by RNG. They have to be a lot more aggressive with how they use these teamfight ults they have. They need to land at epicenter on bigger targets, not just in a pause 5 Sky, or a pause 4 Sky, but you really need to find the cores. Maybe if you can catch out Setsu with that epicenter stun, you can find a nice trade for yourself, but you do see a smoke from RNG.
There is, and they haven't gotten that tier 1 yet. They finally do, but they know exactly where they are right now. Flyone's got the arena, they infest the lifesteal on. Well, Moonlight Shadow might actually save them, but no, they're going to take the high ground. Hookshot in Super with the arena. It's going to be massive from Flyone. He's caught 3 of them, and they are just going to melt. There is no way out of this situation, or maybe there is. Nevermind, still running, but no, that's that Arcane Bolt is chasing in QY. Nevermind, tried for the TP play. He's not going to make it out, and QY also going down. That's a real shame for IG. Not only do you lose that Sand King, but now he can't even TP for another minute. And mid lane, the Ember is still there.
Yeah. It's not the way to do it. Just a lot of silences coming out from RNG. Of course, you've got the Orchid on Setsu. You've got the Silence on September as well. And they keep cleaning up. RNG 21-9, 12k lead at 19 minutes in. The only real boon here for iG.V is that Doodle is not dying. So that's a silver lining. It just doesn't matter when you're this far behind.
Oh, Mirana. Dusty, just... You can't get close to him right now, not with this net worth deficit. Like, we're sitting at 13k. They have to create space somehow for Doodle, but how? How do you do it? Now there's a Mjolnir up on the Lifestealer. And I love the way RNG's playing this. They've essentially just drawn a line out right there, and they're just not letting them get past that line, past that tier 2 mid tower. It's just fantastic play here from RNG, controlling the map, and Nevermind has to be careful. He's barely out of range for that sentry ward, but now Butterfly Effect gonna show himself. Nevermind just trying to channel that Sandstorm as long as he possibly can and protect that tier 2 mid tower, because once that's gone, you really are out of space. Butterfly, you'll spawn out Super. Arrow gonna fly through as well, but you have that Mjolnir active being placed there from Monet, and now the Lifestealer gonna look for a chase. Isn't quite able to catch up Butterfly. But Hook, not going to be there from Super either. He barely misses out on the Sand King.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Butterfly's just trying to secure a camp while he can, but now Fly went great silence out from Butterfly, stopping that arena. Now there is going to be an Epi. No, Setsu, he cancels off the Epi, or rather, just forces him back. That Sand King's dead. Arena down as well. Doodle comes in, but a great Sonic Wave out. Once again connecting on 3. And it's a cleanup. They call GG. It's over.
That's a 20-minute game coming out for RNG in game 1, and they're keeping that momentum great. iG.V, I mean, we said they've had issues in this. Doesn't look like they're anywhere near to fixing that up. We'll see whether or not they get shaken up enough to change up their playstyle in game number 2.
Well, they're going to need to. That was a very, very dominant victory here from RNG. And I mean, look, they're definitely the favorites in this matchup. Nobody disagrees with that. But perhaps with that drafting, like we saw that last pick Spectre, we kind of questioned how that was going to go, especially with the economy changes and the item changes that happened. And as we kind of saw, I mean, Doodle, he went for that old school earn build to try and fight early, but it just did not work out. Still, game number 2 should be back up in about 5 to 10 minutes. It is MLP Dota and DreamHack Fire, and we'll see you all again very, very soon for that second game of this best of 3 series.
was ban out Fly wins Mars, but looks like iG.V don't think that's an issue. I mean, Flywin had an amazing time in the Mars, but everyone on RNG side really did play quite well. So I think the one thing for iG.V is that Spectre pick that we keep seeing come out is just not amazing. And I think they've got to shake that off, maybe try a faster core, because RNG, based on the past few days, they play a really fast game. So you have to be able to stand up against that, and the Spectre just doesn't have enough room anymore with the changes to farming pace. So that's something they have to consider. And still, you do see the openings very different from both teams. They do each get to pick up the Queen of Pain and the DK, both very strong meta heroes, a lot of flexibility with this opening, and both sides aren't really constrained as to where to toss these heroes just yet.
No, they are not. iG.Vitality, you'd imagine it should be a mid-quap, but it is still very, very early, and it is a flexible pick, and you'd make the argument as well, she may not want to be up against that Dragon Knight, because there's not really too much you can do once that DK has hit level 3. So iG.V, they'll see the early DK pick, see if they try and counter it out now with a support pick up here from iG.V. Kind of hard to really focus down the DK though, it kind of just does its job no matter what you do to it.
Yeah, it's a really solid core in that sense. Like, you don't really want to commit too many picks to counteract the DK as well, right? Because it's got sensitive timings and it's always going to be great. Anyway, you do see the next pickup, so Tusk coming out from iG.V and the Mirana for RNG. So you've got the Mirana once more making an appearance in this series, this time RNG playing it, and you've got some solid setup with the DK. Like, that stun is long enough that an arrow from afar should be able to land every single time. iG.V though with the Tusk, they look to be trying to play faster, at least. The Tusk does enable a lot more early aggression. It allows you to do early rotations, and of course you've got a great saving tool now, so if the Tusk isn't stunned out once you have a blink, or if you can close the gap, anyone you stun out with a DK can be saved by this hero. So that's something RNG will have to really take note of and have to be cautious about.
Yeah. I do at least like the Tusk from iG.V. It does allow you to fight much earlier on, especially if they are being aggressed by RNG. At least you can just kind of turn on the tag team and have that automatic advantage of that bonus damage that you tend to get. Now we're going through this very long banning phase between these two teams, and last time around we saw mostly just position 1s being removed here. iG.V following that trend by getting rid of the Troll Ursa already. RNG, they are not focusing on POS 1s this time around. Seems like they are removing all those big DK counters at the moment. So you've got the Bat Rider being removed, you've got the Venomancer being removed now. They may just want to ensure that Setsu has a decent mid lane without having to worry about these direct counters in that Veno and the Bat Rider. And I mean, I don't think they'll go as far as banning out something like the AA, but yeah, just the Bat Rider Veno is enough, I'm sure, to make Setsu feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, and it also really helps out with, say, even RNG's safe lane pickup, right? Like, heroes are pretty flux on the off lane, and it does make it a lot easier for RNG to maybe go back into a core that doesn't deal with that control well. Heck, if RNG wanted to, they could easily go back into that Lifestealer for Monet, maintain that same pace, maintain that same aggression that we were seeing a while ago. You don't have the best natural infest bomb carriers here. DK with a blink would be great, but that does take some cooking up. Still, it's a hero that can really enable RNG to just play the fast game they want to, and let's see whether or not iG.V does decide to ban that out, because Monet was giving him massive issues in game 1.
Yeah, I don't think they'll focus on the Lifestealer though. I think it was just purely based on the fact that it was the Sand Mirana they were up against. They went down that Lifestealer route. So iG.V, they get rid of the Terrorblade now. And Raw never give up. Probably will just pick up the position 5 hero if they really wanted to. I mean, there's not really much else to really secure here. You could go back into the Mars right now if you want, but generally Flyman's hero is left till last, so they do go for the Super Bane. Up against the Queen of Pain is just a great pickup.
Yeah, so a lot of control now for RNG. Really solid single target control coming out. This does allow iG.V to go for the NP. So you don't quite have the best of wave clears, but say the Bane and DK Mirana does a decent job. But there are ways now for iG.V to maybe shove out lanes, take a tower or two early on. Of course, Tusk plus NP is pretty potent for the tag team, but RNG straight into the Void Spirit. Now, the control from iG.V isn't quite enough to keep a Void Spirit in its place. You're only really looking at the Tusk and maybe a fast Orchid from either the NP or Queen of Pain. So it should be a relatively easy time for RNG to go in and out with that hero.
Yeah, it should be.
5
Raw never
seconds
give up
remaining.
looking great already in this this draft. I kind of wonder though where they lane this Void Spirit. Like, does this mean Flyman's going to take the offlane DK and you'd rather run the mid Void Spirit here? Or are we going to see another... Do we see something weird like a position 1 DK? It's still very flexible and it can work out either way. iG.V may have to consider the same thing now as they go into their 4th pickup. Like, what are we picking up here and what are we banning? I imagine right now they'll either go for a position 5 or they'll just run the Prophet 5 and maybe go for an offlane pick.
Yeah, I think RNG with this draft, we've seen them do this before. We've seen Monet play that DK multiple times to great effect. If RNG did just want to keep that pacing, I can actually see them just going back to the Moors if they want to and playing a really fast-paced game, not giving iG.V breathing room. iG.V, well, they pick up the Lich, which, again, isn't the best control for a Void Spirit, but I guess that Gaze is pretty good. You've got stronger team fight, and we've seen the combo with the Tusk before, so there's a lot of laning presence from these two supports, and a lot of durability they can bring, so it is a lot faster from iG.V this time around with these heroes. They do still have to follow up with a very fast POS 1 if they want to maintain that pace, but it does look like they've kind of sorted out their drafting issues from game number 1 at the least.
Well, my issues here with iG.V is they've only got 1 stun right now.
10 seconds remaining.
That's the Tusk. And that's not a very good stun. It's very short and it's on
5
a,
seconds
Snowball is on a decently long cooldown for a support hero, so that's the one thing that's bothering me right now about iG.V's draft, if I'm perfectly honest. It's just the pure fact that they don't really have much stun going on. And so heroes like the Void Spirit, the Mirana, how are you going to control them? They're just going to jump in and out however they want. Even the Banger. Like, you get a Fiend's Grip off, and currently the only thing to stop that Fiend's Grip is Snowball and Warrior's Punch, but that's it.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and you've got the Gaze from the Lich, but that's not too long for canceling. It's there though, at least. But I do agree, it's trickier for iG.V to get big control in the big fight, and it gets a lot harder as well because their last pick looks to be that pause 1. There's not many position 1 you a decent amount of control to make up for this lack of it from iG.V's side. The Void would have been nice, but they take that out. Chrono would have fixed some of those issues in their team fight at least, but you don't have that option anymore. We're going to have to see how iG.V works it out. They do have to pick first. That gives RNG a huge opening to close out their own draft.
It does. One final ban now. We saw the Doom being removed there from iG.Vitality, and RNG, they get rid of the Slark, which actually would have been a very nice pickup there for iG.V had they wanted to go down that route. They won't have the option any longer. How do you finish this off now? We still do have those illusion-based heroes like the Naga Siren, like the PL. Maybe a bit hard for RNG to deal with those kind of heroes, but they're going to go after the AM. Fair enough. RNG, I wonder how they respond with their own position 1 now.
Yeah, it's an interesting AM pick. I think overall you do have really solid control from RNG. Like, sure, the Bane can only stun 1. You either choose the Quap or the AM, but when it comes down to it, the AM is the big, money bomb that you want to shut down faster. And you do have the DK with the Dragon Tail for RNG anyway. So RNG's timing probably going to have to revolve around a quick initiation tool for the DK in this game, just to ensure that they will have the follow-up regardless of who is Fiend's first. And that makes it a lot harder for the AM to just blink in and out of these fights. Of course, if you can get some good stacks going here and the NP can maintain a presence in that jungle, you can get that AM snowballing really hard. Still, RNG, they do close out with a Pango. So they are tying up that team fight. And they are looking to play really fast. We do see that Monet DK once more. So with this kind of lineup, you want to keep the same pace they were playing in game 1, iG.V. It's a lot faster than it was with a Spectre, but the AM does have some farm ramp up to take care of as well. So we'll see whether or not iG.V does secure that safe farm for Doodle, or if they bleed too much space to RNG here in game 2.
I don't know about this AM. I'll be frank with you, John. I really don't. Like, if Monet does go for the standard Blink Dagger build that we see out of these DKs these days, you know, you blink in, you Dragon Tail stun, arrow to follow up, Doodle's dead, guaranteed. You've also got the Bane's Fiend's Grip, you've got the Aether Remnant, you've got the Rolling Thunder. It just doesn't seem like an easy AM game. And we almost expect him to go for the standard Battle Fury build, as we do tend to see AMs do pretty much every time we see them, which is absolutely fine because it's just a great item to have. It's just a matter of whether RNG are willing to give them enough time to even utilize that Battle Fury when they do get it up. But
yeah, it's almost got that same timing issue as the Spec. Not quite as bad, because the AM does have innate mobility for clearing out camps at the least. But if you do end up with Doodle stalled out, as we saw him in game 1 with a Spec, well, the AM does lose some potency there. So a lot more pivotal for iG.V to maintain that control in the jungle. They're going to have to ensure that they don't bleed out in those early objectives too fast, just to allow themselves to get Doodle up and running.
Prepare for battle.
they're going to be running the offlane Prophet as well, so never mind. Looking to have a better game than last time around. He did have quite a struggle last game on the Sand King. It's going to be very important for him to have that decent laning phase and start rotating early. You already have like the Tusk there that you can really combo off quite nicely with Tag Team. Nature's Prophet already hits so hard as it is. That Tag Team only looking to amplify the high damage he already has. And iG.V, they're going to try and go for something early on. Flywind doesn't want to walk that way. Dust going to show himself now, of course. Tag Team going to come up. Arrow is very nice, however, from September. That may actually allow Super to get out of there.
30 seconds to battle.
He's still making a run for it. Doodle can't quite finish the job. And it was just off the back of that arrow. But now September's going to be a bit of danger. Frost Blast may be enough. September does. He's going to dive for it, and he will go and get the first blood. And so they still managed to get the first blood they were looking for. I suppose you'd call that a positive start for iG.V.
Yeah, they do manage to get that. The trade isn't too bad for RNG, especially if they do manage to pick up more bounties, but you do see iG.V manage to clear that out as a trade. So a slight win in the end for iG.V. That was a massive investment to it. That was like 4 heroes down bot to ensure that happens, and since Setsu had the space, he's going to have a bit of a better block up against that Queen of Pain down mid.
That he will. And he kind of needs to as well. Like, the early levels for the Void Spirit can be pretty rough. Butterfly going to have to try and pump out as much harassment as he can early on, as can get a bit difficult as the levels do go up on Setsu. Setsu really just closing the gap there on Butterfly Effect, understanding he has to go after the range creep sooner or later, and well, the range creep is secured there by Butterfly, but he took so much harass out of that. Top lane as well, Dust is falling very low on the Tusk, but it'll be alright.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth. It's really much more important for iG.V to win out in these lanes. You can't allow, say, the DK to get really online fast, because once Monet has that Soul Ring, you're just feeding him treants in this lane. It's going to snowball out of control if you're not careful, and Dust and Nevermind really have to maximize this damage they have.
Shards was there as well, trying to lock Monet in, but he did just walk around them. They're going to try and apply this pressure now underneath this tier 1 tower and get as many denies as they can up against Monet, and this is one thing the Nature's Prophet does very well. Monet, without that Breathe Fire, can't really secure any CS properly. Looks like Super's just going to try and continue harassing out Dust and making some space for him. Of course, down to that bot lane as well, you'll see Doodle and QYQX there up against Flywind and September. So far, Doodle is at the top of the last hits board, and he does make an aggressive jump onto September now. It's something he can afford to do with that Frost Shield. It's not too hard to be able to blink in and just get a few right clicks off, while you know they can't really trade harass very well.
Yeah, it's really good for iG.V to have this kind of start for Doodle. Like, there's not much you can expect September to really do in that lane, and ooh.
Yeah, top lane, he goes down super, he will die as well, but you lost that core Nature's Prophet to Monet. And this is going to make that lane much more comfortable for this DK now, at least for the next couple seconds. You don't want that.
No, that does give Monet his Soul Ring gold as well. I believe that's going to be TP in with Super, so you've got the sustain on the DK, and he can just clear out these treants, clear out these waves with the Breed Fire forever.
He does bring out the full Soul Ring. Dust, he's going to stick around the lane for now on that Tusker, so he's not really interested in making too many early rotations on the Tusk. I thought he may try to go mid lane and go after that Void Spirit with the Quap, but instead they'll just keep focused on Monet. But with that level 2 Dragon's Blood, the odds are Monet is not going to die.
No, he just has too much regen, too much stat padding with that Soul Ring as well. The best you can hope for now is just to get levels on Dust with some pulls, try to reach level 4, level 5 in a good timer, and maybe get a rotation on a different lane. Again, mid is still pretty nice. Setsu, as long as he doesn't have Astral Step, it's a much more manageable target.
He does go down in the end, so Dust managing to make it work. He just popped the tag team again, and Monet may have been out of position. Does go down, Dust. Oh.
It's a really important pickup. Again, you don't want that DK to just have an overwhelming start. Of course, with Super tied up there, that does leave your bot lane to go really well. Doodle's having a comparatively better start on the AM and is set for a pretty decent timing on that Battle Fury.
Well, September, going to be able to secure that Illusion Rune, going after QYQX now. Nice arrow landing from that Mirana. Shouldn't really lead to a kill here. QY, he will be fine to just get himself out. And Dust actually TP'd into that mid lane on the Tusk. And, well, looks like he's going to be forced to run back up top, because never mind, he is under some harass here from Super. No, he definitely wants to try and go mid, but he hasn't gone for that level 1 snowball quite yet. So perhaps just feeling uncomfortable trying to break the gap there in that mid lane, and we'll come back up top to try and help out Nevermind. Back Super, it could be in danger. They pinged him out, shards are going to be there, but they don't really lock him in, and now with the Dragon Tail, they'll try and turn around. Dust is there with the tag team, back onto Super, and I don't believe he can tank this. He'll go for the Nightmare. Still, nice spread out from Nevermind. He will be able to secure this kill. Salve committed from the Bane, but it was not enough regen to allow him to survive. And that's also going to mean iG.V at least secure both the top bounties.
Yeah, it's a really strong showing now for iG.V, just managing to find the better trades overall. When it comes down to rotations, though, Dust is going to miss out opportunity for Setsu. Setsu is just about hit 6, so once the Astral Step is up, the Void Spirit is out of the table, so just look to maintain that side lane and continue that pressure on Monet, while he is still fairly squishy on the DK. Like, level 2 levels in Dragon Blood is great, but Tag Team plus Treants is still a force to be reckoned with.
Now they really tried to dive Butterfly Effect there. Setsu could be in a bit of danger. Shard's going to come out, but you have September around the corner, and Setsu just jumps back in with the Aether Remnant onto Dust. And well, nice Snowball is going to juke out some of that damage from Setsu. Dust going to get the Frost Shield as well, and that'll allow him to survive. iG.V very, very close to dropping that Tusk mid lane, but they do make it work, and Setsu getting very unlucky with that Power Rune. It does respawn down bot, so Super will have to take it on the Bane.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources now from iG.V to keep track mid, but with level 6 up in Setsu, he's just not a very easy target to lock down. Again, this is the issue with her draft, but they do smoke up.
The mid lane is going to be quite susceptible here. QY is the only man sitting there. They're going to run up top instead with Butterfly Effect and Dust. They'll try to make a play here onto Monet. Monet has no help around the corner, so they just jump in with the shards out as well, and the tag team, and he's taking a lot of damage and will ultimately die. And RNG unable to find any kind of trade across the map.
Yeah, it's a lot more aggressive from iG.V, and that aggression is paying off. Like, all of this movement has ensured that Doodle is really not receiving pressure down bot. A complete free farm lane for the AM, 42-6. You are seeing decent build-up on Flywin, but trading that kind of for an AM timing isn't amazing. And with that movement, they are allowed to shove in that top tier 1. One of the benefits of having that NP, do find these early objectives fast.
That you do.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Now, they're going to have to start focusing down Doodle sometime soon. This AM is going to get
Radiant's bottom tower is
that
under
Battle Fury up very, very fast if this kind of farm keeps up. You see September trying to scout things out, but now he just leaps straight into Doodle. Try and leap away, but Doodle going to just blink straight in after September. You do have Super around the area as well,
is under attack.
but he doesn't have the Fiend's Grip yet on that Bane, so he's not able to really grab the AM. Instead, they do trade the tier 1 towers and rotate up towards that top lane again to try and stop this tier 2 from being pressured too much. And RNG looks like they're going to attempt to at least take over control of this Radiant side jungle and try to force Doodle out.
Yeah, I mean, iG.V doing the same thing to that top jungle. They are trying to surround Setsu as well.
Can they get him though? He just assimilates and gets out of there. It's perfectly fine. Monet, meanwhile, harassing out Doodle, trying to force him back, and he does do so.
Structures are fortified.
And Doodle, yeah, he's just going to TP up towards that top lane now. He's not going to waste his time here in the Radiant jungle. Flywin, he'll rotate mid, where they do get the Aether Element there on Butterfly Effect, and he tries to blink away, but the Astral Step damage does kick in as he blinks out. And of course, Setsu going to be very, very happy with that kill.
Yeah, it's a really important one to stimulate the damage coming out from iG.V, that momentum out. And Doodle, left alone top, does cop some damage. Not quite enough to finish him off, but again, you're forcing the AM to constantly be on the move and keep hunting for safe areas to farm. It gets a bit tricky when you keep applying that aggression.
Well, September's just going to, again, haunt him here. Just keep stealing his creeps. Meanwhile, bot lane, nice snowball there to cancel off the TP of Super. Nevermind is the one that's able to pick up the kill on the Nature's Prophet. September, maybe going a bit too far into that triangle. Doodle may try and help out here. The leap is there, but the Frost Shield is out as well. And no, Doodle, he sees the DK. He's not going to bother chasing him down. QY has to be a little bit careful. He's very, very far in. Setsu around the area. Monet going to get the stun off, and this will mean a very, very easy kill. Flywin will take it on the Pango, and they're going to try and apply pressure up to that top lane, and most importantly, just keep Doodle on the run. They will do so.
Yeah, there was some pressure down bot from the NP, but Flywin by himself can kind of clear out that wave, although Super?
He's got Nightmare off, but there's no real follow-up to this. Flywin going to swashbuckle in, misses that one, but now the Rolling Thunder should allow them to secure this kill on Nevermind, though he is standing in the corner. Now the TP play is actually going to make it out. Oh, that's really well played by Nevermind.
Oh, that was just the perfect spot. He knew you couldn't roll the Pachinko ball there, and this isolates Monet up top.
Yeah, Chain Frost going to bounce through. Does it bounce back? It does. QY will get the kill for himself on the Lich now, and they're going to try and apply pressure into that mid lane. Butterfly Effect. Could be in a bit of danger. Setsu around, but you haven't really got anyone nearby to lock him down yet. The Super's not able to get in range to get the Nightmare off, and Nevermind, he just TP's in. Setsu forced to back off. And iG.Vitality may feel confident enough to try and chip away at that tier 1 mid tower a little bit. It's not going to be that easy, but they can get some damage in for sure. I believe this the support levels right now on RNG are really hurting them. Level 5 and 4 on the Mirana and Bane, they're just... Well, actually, Super just hit 6 now, aiding the tomb.
Yeah, this fixes some issues they have with control. Now that you have the Fiend's Grip up and running, they can go for easier pickoffs. You do start to look at Doodle. He's 2 parts away from finishing up that Battle Fury. You really want to keep a lid on him, but every time they go rotate in the jungle, there are wards from iG.V to watch that movement, so Doodle's always safe on that side, and don't really have the tools just yet there.
Mid lane, Dust gonna get a very nice snowball off, avoiding that rolling thunder damage. Still, Super coming in. There'll be a stun out on the Tusk. They may just grip him. No, they get the arrow off and they'll get the kill onto that. They should get the kill, but no, nobody followed up. It was only September. Sonic Wave, nice leap away, and now the Fiend's Grip is there from Super. They have got the Queen of Pain, though again, Snowball gonna save, and Chain Frost is gonna bounce through. They'll lose nothing quite yet. Setsu did dissimulate, Doodle jumping in, but the Astral Step, he'll be able to get away now. Everyone barely getting out apart from the Tusk. And never mind, no, he TP'd in, he got Setsu on that Void Spirit, but this may cost him his own life. They are eventually going to be able to claim the bounty on that Nature's Prophet.
That was a really messy engagement from RNG. They just didn't manage to go in there at the right times. Surprising that Flywind chose to force that out for so long and no one was there to back him up. September, with a Starstorm, didn't get the second one to land on Dust. That just allowed him to really interrupt the Fiend's Grip and cause havoc there. Of course, the entire time while you're forcing that fight, you're giving space to Doodle. He's got the Perseverance up. He's saving up for the Claymore next, and that's just about 1,000 gold away, so you're looking at a really early timer on that Battle of Fury for Doodle, and that's when the AM's farm really starts to kick into full gear.
Top lane, they may make a play onto Flywind. They do get the shards off with the Snowball, but Flywind will just bounce across the shards, and Rolling Thunder now going to be committed. They'll go onto the Lich and try to claim an easy pos 5. QY, he does go down eventually due to the Pangolier. They were unable to secure the kill onto Flywind.
It's a decent pickup for RNG, not the biggest trade in the world. And again, as you mentioned, that's just a pos 5 Lich. You're still keeping Doodle moving, but he has a lot of safe space in this area. And you're not quite finding the same farm escalation on Monet. Like, he's at 5.9k, like not too far behind the AM, but that is set to change with the timing on Doodle. He's just ready to go soon.
Monet's actually gone for a very intriguing build with that Armlet again. Not opting to try to go for that Blink Initiation, and he's going to go into that BKB up next on the DK, so just wanting to be able to fight very early on with this team, which I believe they are going to need. Thing is though, Setsu also has an Orchid up now, and that did become a lot cheaper with that new patch. So now, on bot lane, Flywind, he was in a bit of danger, does get himself out. Butterfly going to get silenced up here from Setsu. Eighth Remnant though won't latch, but they should have enough, and they do. Dissimulate to get himself out. Setsu's still in danger. He needs some help. Flywind with the Rolling Thunder will delay things from Dust, but eventually they do secure the kill. Going on to QYQX instead on that Lich. And Dust, he's been used up by Flywind. Nice shards out to block the pathing, but eventually Arrow does connect and they do get the kill. Another great trade out from RNG.
Yeah, it's finally starting to shape up for them. They are starting to find the right targets. A bit of a shame they had to trade Setsu away, so you're not finding as much as you'd want, but with this kind of opening, it does allow them to apply that pressure on the mid-tier one. They've got a little bit more time left on Monet's Dragon form, so there's some decent damage that will fly out here. Still going to be happy with giving Doodle the space, though. You're not losing too much with those kinds of trades. Battle Fury's up and running, so you can still keep farming up in that hero.
Oh, mid lane, they have to cancel the TP there onto Dust, and with that TP cancellation, they go straight onto that Queen of Pain, and they just burst them down. That Orchid pickup out from the Setsu is doing a lot of work, and we see the Orchid trying to be picked up there from the Quap as well, but it's just so much further off.
Yeah, it's giving a lot of opportunities to RNG to get that lockdown. That's the crucial thing. They've been able to get control on these high mobility heroes with that silence. Now, once the Quap has that, we're going to have that tool as well. And we kind of saw that in Game 1, where there was an exchange of Orchids between the two teams, but RNG did manage to utilize that better, although... Ooh. Super.
There's going to be a silence out on Dust. Super. Looks like he nightmared himself and wasn't able to follow up on any kind of kill attempt. Still buying time for Doodle here. He's still farming up decently, but it looks like RNG are more than happy to really set a nice tempo now for their side of things. Where do they go from here, though, RNG? They've just kind of been stuck in that mid lane for a while.
They need to finish up some key items. Like that BKB and Monet is going to be big to allow him to just stand there and fight. You're seeing the same build-up from Setsu. They don't want the control to be a factor, and iG.V have really nothing to pierce through that BKB. Just need to wait out that spell immunity, and they can really start to take control in these fights. But this is, again, space for iG.V. Doodle saving up for that S and Y.
It'd be very, very nice. They're cancelling the TP from Nevermind, and he's got no way out now. So, perhaps a bit of chip damage onto the tier 2 tower while they're there. They are continuing this pace nicely. 3k net worth lead out for RNG. We do see a smoke there from iG.V now, trying to go to the Dire jungle and find Monet. And Monet is trying to fight up against Dust right now. He does have TPs coming in, but they need to come quicker than that. Monet still looking pretty darn healthy. Gets the Fiend's Grip off onto QYQX, but it is cancelled by the Snowball. Still, QY is going to die, and so will Dust. The Chain Frost doesn't end up killing anybody.
Yeah, it's like they tried to surround the DK, but they don't quite have enough damage by themselves. Clear out Monet, and that's before the BKB's here. So he's flying that BKB out now, and now your magic damage isn't going to be a factor towards Monet. I mean, this Nether Shawl is just giving too much durability to Monet. Really balanced for the DK to have that one.
Doodle at least does have the Yasha up now, going into the Sergeant Yasha. We've seen that exact same build out of God King before. He tends to do the exact same thing on the AM. Well, Setsu looking down at Butterfly effect of that bot lane, and there's that silence with the 8th Remnant. You just see how fast this Queen of Pain blows up.
Ooh.
And Nevermind, he TP's in, trying to get some added damage out onto this Void Spirit. Sprout will not miss, will not connect. A great dodge out from Setsu, and he should still be able to secure this kill, but while he's doing that, QYQX goes down. Setsu still trying to make a run for it. He has to simulate very soon, but it will not be enough. iG.V do eventually manage to secure the kill.
Yeah, that does give RNG an opening up top to get a lot of damage onto this tier 2, and that's going to open up that outpost for the taking if RNG wants to play aggressive after that objective.
They'll do it pretty easily. They'll trade the bottom tier 1 for that. Maybe not. There's going to be a defense out from Monet. He's not going to allow that tier 1 tower to drop. Still, their Ancients were taken there by Dust and, of course, the AM Doodle. But now they're going to go on to Dust to try to go for a Snowball on September. He will go down to September. So they got a decent amount of gold out of that Ancient stack. But they will lose Tusk in return. And well, now it looks like RNG are going to try and sneak that outpost away before that 20-minute mark.
It's going to be... That's a massive win for RNG. Just a lot of EXP going their way. This is not something you tend to see because of the way it's been changed, right? Like, you need a tier first. But with that kind of trade earlier on, this gives RNG some decent control in that bot jungle, which limits the space for the rest of the heroes of iG.V to farm up. I mean, you're still having decent farm and Doodle, but with the AM, you want to be number 1 in that fort, and even with that Battle Fury timing Doodle's had, Monet is still finding the better end here in terms of farm.
That he is. RNG, they're going to start forcing down that tier 2 tower with this Dragon form from Monet. Monet is going for the Aghanim Scepter straight after, and he's getting fairly close to it as well, only about halfway there now. So iG.Vitality try to trade the top tier 2 tower, but there are TPs coming in from Flywind, who is going to Rolling Thunder, but the AM does blink out. Still, they do have control over Super as well in that Bane. He does go down. Flywind is just going to go after the Lich instead, and Monet will actually TP in after taking that tier 2 tower and does at least get the pos 5. Now, Nevermind will try to sprout his way out of this one, but it looks like he cannot get himself out. Still, Setsu will die on the Void Spirit. Looks like he went a bit too far into Butterfly, and well, it's an absolute mess up with this top lane. A 2 for 2 in the end. iG.Vitality managing to at least kill off that mid Void Spirit.
It's a bit more worthwhile for iG.V in that trade if you don't factor in that tier 2 bot. That's just a lot of objectives bleeding away from iG.V, and again, limiting the space where they can safely back up their heroes. So the jungle, RNG is going to set their sights on it if they want to, and they can just take control. There's no spots for iG.V to TP in. They do get some decent D wards off, so you're not at least having vision control here from RNG, but they do smoke up.
They'll go on to maybe Dust here. They did ping him out.
Radiant's middle tower
In
is
fact,
under
no, they
attack.
might switch their attention onto QY, who did cancel the smoke of September. Jumps onto the cliff, gets a Yule's off, and that should mean a very easy arrow. And it is just the position 5 going down there for iG.V, but well, it's just some unfortunate timing for RNG for that smoke to be broken. This is buying more space for Doodle, who does disassemble that Sergeant Yasha and go for that Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah, it's almost time for the AM to really start jumping in. He's just lacking that ultimate orb for the Manta style as well. But you can see RNG, they're not relenting.
No, mid lane, Butterfly Effect getting it sunned up, and they just burst him down. Nobody there to help the Quap out, and that means Monet is again just going to be able to pop that Dragon form and go straight after that mid-tier 2 tower. They extend their net worth lead to 4k and probably even 5k after that tier 2, and oh, they want to go high ground a bit. With the BKB at 10 seconds, why not?
Yeah, they've still got a little bit more time in that dragon form, and the next time Monet rolls around, he's gonna have his hags. So that's the black dragon form coming out, and just a lot more damage coming out from this DK.
Well, they get the tier 3 tower. I mean, he gets frost shielded, but that is not a glyph. So RNG aren't going to back off, and they still have time. They could go after that Rax as well, but no, it looks like the rest of the team say we're going back. A lot of Dire Courier is dying to mine right now, apparently on that Nature's Prophet. Monet going to turn around, going onto Dust. Arrow does connect, and he will die. They go for more now. Onto that Lich, and, well, QY is going to die to the Orchid damage. They force out the buyback there from Dust on the Tusk, and that'll be enough.
Yeah, I mean, they gave space to Doodle to try to shove out top, so there is that going for iG.V, but again, you're looking at an AM who is finding decent farm, but he's not in the lead. He's just matching Monet. That's never the spot you want to be in on that hero. You have to have that lead, and there's just nothing from Doodle that's big here.
Doodle. Be in trouble. Monet with that Moonlight Shadow should be able to break the gap here up against Doodle, but he does blink away. They may have ran through a Sentry Ward, and it looks like they did, so Doodle just going to TP out of there. I believe they did run through the Sentry of the that Radiant Triangle.
Radiant are scanning.
So a big opportunity missed out there for RNG. I don't think they'll mind too much anyway, though. They could just go for the Roshan pit if they really want, but no, they're going to TP down bot lane where Doodle does show himself. He does get the Manta and immediately just starts blinking away. It's a smoke is going to be there from iG.V now. A 25-minute bounty rune. September could be in danger. They'll snowball in. They just jump in immediately. Flywin goes in after that Queen of Pain, however, with the Rolling Thunder. Now going to connect on 3 heroes, and Monet is going to have a field day just hitting them over and over again. A great Sonic Wave out from that Quap, but Dust is still in trouble, and he is going to die. Now Setsu jumping on top of that Nature's Prophet will secure a triple kill out for Monet. And it looked decent for a moment for iG.Vitality, but RNG just proving to be too strong at the moment.
Yeah, they've got way too much to work with. That plump up for Flywin was big. That really allowed them to clean up. Now, iG.V did manage to bail out Doodle and bail out Butterfly Effect, so that's a bit of a silver lining for iG.V. It's just that these 2 heroes, they still need a lot more to really start turning the tides in these engagements. I mean, the Doodle's all set to try to split push and maybe join for fights. It's just not enough so far when you have so much more on the DK. And we haven't even seen either side go for the Roche, but RNG with their 7k lead would be able to take control of that area if they wanted to as well.
Flywin having a look to see if he can spot out this AM. Orchid going to come out there from the Quap. Moonlight Shadow also popped. Bot lane, Super does get caught there, but Monet is going to be on the chase, and it's going to be another call for a support kind of kill. It's just not favoring iG.Vitality to do that. The Super will be more than happy to die every time if it means they find that pos 3 Prophet. Even Butterfly Effect being chased down here from Flywin top lane. He does get the Orchid off on that Mirana. She'll use it off. Flywin not connecting with the Swashbuckle. And yeah, he's still around, but Doodle now going to jump in. Does secure the kill onto September. And Flyone's going to find a way out of this one. Swashing to the right side. And they do blink right on top of him, but a nice little shield crash, and he's going to have another swashbuckle ready to go. Does commit straight away, getting the bash on the AM, but a nice blink. Now Setsu is going to jump in, getting butterfly effect. They'll go after that AM. There's a snowball in from Dust. He really wants that Pangolier. He does end up securing the kill for his team. Setsu doesn't seem to be done yet. We'll see if he can get Dust. He only has the Orchid. Astral Step will now be back up. But whether he has enough damage to kill off this Tusk is an entirely different story. And, well, eventually they may if they just end up getting vision. Dust. Yeah, he's dead now. Monet gets a stun off, and that will mean another kill.
Yeah, it's not the best trade still for iG.V. Like, that's Flywin or a core and a support still in the end. You are seeing Doodle start to join in. I mean, that's Doodle's first actual kill. So it's a start for our AM. He is saving up for the Satanic next, just wanting a way to stay in those man fights and try to win out. Of course, once that's up and running, you should see more impact from that hero. Setsu, he did waste his 10-second charge here as well on his BKB, so a bit costly for not the biggest kills. But they are just gonna go for the racks. They've got that dragon form with the Ags.
Yeah, Monet will get started. He's doing a lot of damage. That's for sure. And they're going to glyph it up. There's no T3 tower to protect it. There's no way to defend. And with that glyph being expended, they may as well just go for another. But Snowball in is going to be there onto the DK with the Sonic Wave. But he is so tanky. He pops his BKB and they just jump in with the Starfall on the AM. Doodle forced to Mantra and blink out. But that Rolling Thunder from Flywin controlling the backlines. QY will go down, and now Nevermind also does go down. And again, with that glyph being used up, RNG, they just go up top. Butterfly? It's going to be a stun out. Yeah, that wasn't the play, and the AM was disarmed up, having to blink out again. Dust, he tried to snowball, save that Queen of Pain, but it will cost him. And now the Yule's out from Flywin, hoping for a bash, doesn't quite get there, but the Fiend's Grip is going to come out, and that will mean the AM dies. And that's it, they call it. No buybacks available, they just say GG.
Oh, iG.V. I mean, that was a lot better for them here in Game 2, but they still have a lot to work on as they do maintain a bit of a losing streak here in the DPL-CDA Season 2. RNG, they're looking fantastic. They managed to find the answers for SAG. They're dominant over iG.V. We'll see if they can continue that run in the rest of the games, but, well, we've got a very exciting game to come out next, Mike. LGD versus VG. Yeah,
LGD versus Vici Gaming will be coming up. There is some bad news, though. I do believe we are going to be waiting. We are going to be waiting till the scheduled time begins. Yeah. So there is about an hour and 30 minutes to wait. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it, John. It's a long time. I guess I'll check with the admins to see if they're going to start a bit earlier today. You'll see a timer come out on the screen anyway, so you'll know when it's due to start. But yeah, I can't do much about the time. Unfortunately, if it's scheduled, it's scheduled. So you'll see the timer on the screen when I get confirmation as to what time we are starting. Till then, though, it is MLP Dota and John X Fire, and we'll see you again very, very soon, hopefully, for that second series of the night. We'll see you then.